Hey ladies and gentlemen, Wolf Crier here, and welcome to another Necromancer build guide. Now this is for my T13 farming build. You can also do lower GRs to speed farm those gems, that type of thing. And one thing I want to point out right away is this build does not rely on spamming your curses, nor does it rely on any heavy cooldown skills such as Simulacrum or Land of the Dead or Army of the Dead or any of those. This is just a straightforward go kill a bunch of stuff, and this utilizes the Singularity Mages as your main source of damage. Now to start off this guide, I want to say that your stats that you are looking for are Intelligence, Vitality, Critical Hit Chance, Critical Hit Damage, and Cooldown is also very useful in bringing up your Blood Rush faster. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at that gear. So the first thing you're going to be using is the full 6-piece Bones of Rathma set. And for the 4-piece set bonus, you gain 1% damage reduction for 15 seconds each time one of your minions deals damage, up to 50 stacks. This is a major damage mitigator for this build. And for the 6-piece set bonus, each active skeletal mage increases the damage of your minions and Army of the Dead by 625%, up to 2,500%. Now to get this damage bonus, since that new hotfix that went into place, you only need 4 mages out to reach that 2,500% damage increase. But with this build, the more mages you have out, the better. Try to get all 10 mages out at all times, and you'll be dealing tons of damage with this build. Next up, I use the Jesseth arm set, the 2-piece scythe and shield set. When the target of your command skeletons dies, your skeletons are automatically commanded to attack a nearby target. And as long as your skeletons are commanded to attack a target, all of your minions deal 400% increased damage. You're going to want to make sure while you're running around that your skellies are running around and attacking stuff as well, dashing to targets. Make sure they're commanded. That's going to increase your damage substantially. And the last set we use is the Endless Walk set. Compass Rose Traveler's Pledge, pretty much a staple in most, if not all, Necromancer builds. This set bonus, while moving, damage taken is reduced by up to 50%, and while standing still, all damage dealt is increased by up to 100%. Then for your other ring, you're going to be using Circle of Julian's Love. You now raise an additional skeletal mage with each cast, and they last an additional 3 seconds. So this is going to allow you to get your mages out very fast and keep them up for longer periods of time. And very necessary with this build because, like I said, those mages are your main source of damage for this. Then I use Reaper's Wraps. Health globes restore 30% of your primary resource. Now, Reaper's Wraps are a craftable item only and can be crafted at the blacksmith once you find the recipe. A very good place to find this recipe is off Mal in Act 5. But these bracers are very useful in getting those health globes to restore your essence so you can pump out fully charged Singularity Mages that just deal massive amounts of damage to everything around you. Now for your belt slot, you have multiple options here. I use Gold Wrap since this is my T13 farming build, and I use Burn of the Hoarder as well for one of my gems. Gold Wrap just seems to make sense to me. On gold pickup, you gain armor for 5 seconds equal to the amount of gold picked up, and this stacks, so your toughness goes through the roof as you are running around T13 Nephilim Rifts. Other viable options here are Witching Hour or String of Ears. You do not use a curse, so Dainty's Bindings is pretty useless in this build. But the other 2 belts are just fine if you want to go with those instead of Gold Wrap. It's pretty much your prerogative. I personally love the defense. Now under your cube, we have Scythe of the Cycle in the weapon slot. Your secondary skills deal 300% additional damage while bone armor is active, but This reduces the remaining duration of bone armor by 4 seconds. Now, one thing you're going to want to do with this build is make sure that bone armor is constantly on. Then for the armor slot, I use Requiem Plate. Devour restores an additional 100% essence and life. In addition, when Devour restores essence or life above your maximum, the excess is granted over 3 seconds. This is going to help you greatly in maintaining those full-powered mages. Then I use Crispin's Sentence. You deal 100% increased damage against slowed enemies or triple this bonus against enemies afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. Now, the one thing that is going to trigger this mostly is your Bane of the Trapped, your gem that slows enemies around you. And as far as the triple bonus, that is going to mostly be triggered by your skeletons, because you are going to be using the freezing skeleton, and that's going to increase your damage to the mob that they are currently targeted. Now, it is entirely possible to replace this with Avarice Band, which will increase your pickup radius and allow you to gather up all those health globes for your Reaper's Wraps, as well as all of that gold for your armor if you are using gold wrap. But I still personally like Crispin's Sentence. Now, for your legendary gems, I use Bane of the Trapped. Now, Bane of the Trapped increases damage against enemies under the effects of control impairing effects. And once you have this gem to level 25, it itself becomes a control impairing effect. So this is going to boost your damage. It's also going to trigger that Crispin's Sentence, at least the 100% portion of that. Then I use Enforcer. Since this is a pet build, increase the damage of your pets by a certain percentage, and your pets take 90% less damage. Pretty much a staple in all Rathma's builds. Now, for my third gem, I use Boon of the Hoarder, which is obtained off of Greed. And you gain a % chance on killing an enemy to cause an explosion of gold. And upon reaching level 25 with this gem, you gain 30% increased movement speed for 2 seconds after picking up gold. And you're pretty much going to be picking up gold all the time, strictly because of this gem. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at those skills. First up, I use Bone Spike's Sudden Impact. Bone Spikes is going to be my generator when I need to get those mages started. After that, I'm pretty much just running around picking up health globes and pretty much just casting mages without the need for using Bone Spikes for that purpose. Now, I do use the sudden impact portion for that stun, which is going to trigger the triple damage bonus of my Crispin's Sentence. Then I use Bone Armor, Harvest of Anguish. Bone Armor also increases your movement speed by 1% for each enemy hit. Now, you can change this out for dislocation, just for the stun, to deal even more damage and trigger that Crispin's Sentence in a mass area. So that is entirely possible. I personally still like the movement speed, but I might fiddle with that myself and switch over to dislocation as well. Then I use Command Skeleton's Freezing Grasp. Now, this is going to allow you to send your skeletons into battle, pretty much freezing whatever target they hit, and then your Jesseth set is going to continue that, where they just bounce around from target to target. Once you get them commanded once, they are going to be just all over the place attacking stuff, freezing them, triggering that Crispin's Sentence, and allowing your Singularity mages to pretty much just straight up crush everything. Then I use Blood Rush Potency. This increases your armor by 100% for 2 seconds after casting it, and this is a good way to get around, get to those health globes, build up your essence so that you can cast out your mages, get you out of trouble should you need it, that type of thing. Plus, it's a very good get around the map type of skill. Now, for my main source of damage, I use Skeletal Mage Singularity. This rune consumes all essence to summon a powerful minion. The minion's damage is increased by 3% for every point of essence consumed. So if you have 300 essence, that is going to amount to 900% damage increase for your mages. And most of the time, you're going to have full mages out all the time, and that's 10 full mages. These things are beasts and are going to just rip through the Nephilim Rift. And lastly, we have Devour, Devouring Aura. You can use Cannibalize. You can attempt to, mash your buttons with that, or you can even attempt the numlock trick with that if you want. But I personally just like Devouring Aura. Just allows me to keep my essence capped up. I'm just running around. I don't have to press any buttons or anything like that. And I don't really need the healing because I have that gold wrap keeping me buffed up with the defense, and I'm picking up a ridiculous amount of health globes. Now for your passives, first up we have Overwhelming Essence. Increase your maximum essence by 40. This is going to allow those Singularity mages to get buffed up even further, get your essence really high so that you can just cast out these beasts of skeletal mages. And then we have Life from Death. Consuming a corpse has a 20% chance to spawn a health globe, and your Devouring Aura is going to be spawning health globes all over the place, and that is going to combine with your Reaper's Wraps and allow you to just pump out full Singularity mages, and it's just awesome. I love this build for farming. It's fun. I don't have to worry about any cooldowns. I don't have to worry about casting any curses. All I have to do is keep my bone armor up, run around, pick up health globes, and cast out mages as they expire. It's just a really fun build for me. Then for the next passive, we use Final Service. When taking lethal damage, you are sustained, preventing all damage for 4 seconds, and then all your minions are consumed to heal you for 10% of your life. The problem with this part, guys, is when this triggers, all of your mages and all of your skellies disappear. So you're going to have to be using your bone spikes to build up your essence and stuff like that to get those first few mages out so you can start spawning those health globes and then get those really powerful mages out. And for the last passive, we use Extended Servitude. Pretty necessary in any mage build. Increases the duration of your skeletal mage minions by 25%. You don't have to cast them as often as you would without this passive, but overall you're still going to be pumping out mages, still going to be pressing that mage button just to get them out, but overall it's very, very easy to play this build. I'm having a blast with it. I love playing it like this. I don't really care for many other speed type of builds, and I wanted to make a Rathma speed that pretty much transitions my push build right into my farming build, and I'm pretty sure this was the best way that I could come up with. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this guide, and thank you so very much for checking it out. Thank you so very much for checking out my video, taking the time out of your day to watch this. I greatly appreciate it. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what you think of this build guide. Thank you guys once again, and peace.